Okay, so in this video we're going to cover equipment. Basically the standard of like how to equip your units with equipment, the limits that the units have on equipment, the different types of equipment, and how dropped equipment works. Um, so I guess we'll do with the just basically how to equip the units and the equipment limits. Most units have a specific like weapon type and armor type that they can use. If it'll focus, there you go. Like this particular archer can only use bows, light armor, light to medium armor, which is the L and the M, and no shields. So that'll limit what kind of equipment as far as weapons and armor go that it can use. Let me see if I can get it to focus again. Huh. Well, damn. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyways, like I said, they'll be listed in the abilities part of the card, which what weapons it can use and what armors it's restricted to. There are a couple different types of equipment. Um, with your weapons, you have small weapons, you have medium weapons, and you have large weapons. Your small and medium weapons are typically one-handed, and you can dual wield weapons, or you can have a weapon and a shield equipped. Common sense rules with that one. Um, Large weapons typically require both hands, so there's no dual wielding a large weapon unless the unit says it can or whatever, and there's no shields when using a large weapon. Again, a common sense thing. The there's a As far as like your armors go, it's usually light, medium, and heavy. Your light and medium armors are basically just everyday run of the mill. Almost any unit can wear them, all that good stuff. Your heavy armors are generally reserved for like important units like your generals, or like heavy melee focused units like your soldiers and berserkers, not berserkers, sorry, your soldiers and other things like they're just melee focused. There are universal pieces of equipment. Um, Universal equipment basically just ignores the kind of like size type and stuff like that, as long as it's within like certain reasons, like well, no, because sorry, I got confused there. The universal type weapons and armor are simply just universal. They can be used by any unit, regardless of the size and all that good stuff, because it just simply says universal on it. That's something simple as like, like your common swords or a dagger or something like that. They're pretty universal. There's no real size difference or whatnot, because it's kind of thought that each faction will make the dagger to the size it's supposed to. Anyways, the other category of equipment is a relic. Um, Relics are kind of like, well, like the name entails, like an artifact or something, like a ring or a piece of paper, or like, believe it or not, like war drums and stuff like that. Just something that's not like a piece of armor or a weapon. Now, you'll see the different pieces of equipment. They will be listed with, what it is, how many resources it costs, and then it'll show you what it is. Like this one is an equipment, it's a weapon, it's a sword, and it's of a medium size. Um, the armor is like the scale armor. Sorry. Scale armor, it costs 2 resources. It's a piece of equipment, it's an armor, it's a medium sized armor, and then, it does what it does. And then you simply just have relics. They don't have any kind of real size requirements or anything like that. Relics can be pretty much equipped by any unit. Um, War machines do have their own specific equipments, so you can look forward to that if you start using a war machine focused deck. But, anyways, in order to actually use the equipment, like I showed you with the resource cost, you would just pay the 2 resources for, we'll say, the scale armor. It costs 2 resources, and you would just simply put it onto the unit that you want it equipped with. Um, the bonuses and all that the piece of equipment gives are automatic. So, you know. Now, let's say that this archer gets killed. It gets removed from the game, goes into the graveyard. The equipment that was attached to it drops. So the equipment, unless it's otherwise stated, it stays on the field. It just drops. Now there are 2 options. You can move your own unit over there to pick it back up if you want to equip that unit with that equipment. Or if it's your opponent's equipment, you can move onto it and you can choose to either equip it onto your unit or you can destroy that piece of equipment. And obviously, if you choose to destroy it, it goes into the respective owner's graveyard. I guess really that's pretty much that's equipment, guys. That's the cut and dry of it. It's pretty simple. Um, Having the different like sizes and all that might throw some of you for a loop, but if you have played, tabletop RPGs like D&D or whatever, you're familiar with the size requirements, restrictions, and all that good stuff that some classes might have. Um, but yeah, that's equipment, and moving on to the next. Thanks, guys.